And welcome back to Sin and Fin, the Dugout Decisions Show.
New York just keeps winning. The Knicks first won the championship. For those of you who are basketball fans out there, New York is just on top of the sports world right now. The Knicks won in 5 games, beat the Spurs, and then the Yankees come to town and take 2 out of 3 against the Jays, and we looked horrible in the last 2 games of the series. You take a step forward Friday, and you're thinking, great, Kaz Okamoto to the moon. And I think there was an astronaut in attendance too, Jeremy Hansen, I think is the name. I hope I'm getting that right. Was in attendance that game. Kaz Okamoto just launches to the fifth deck. You never seen it before. You think, great. And then, of course, the Knicks win, and then the Yankees win 2 out of 3, and the Jays just simply collapse in the last couple of games. So rough way to end the weekend for Toronto sports. It's pretty gloomy here in Toronto. So the weather showed it outside. The dome was finally closed. There was fog everywhere downtown, and it showed on the field as well. Rough watch the last couple of days.
Yeah, it started off so well too.
Yeah.
That's just kind of what makes it all worse. Like the Yankees come back to Toronto for the first time since the postseason, and
Uh huh.
everyone knows what happened in the postseason last year against the Yankees. It's the Will Warren home run. It's it's so many different things. Us like doing well against Cam Schlittler, and then in my mind is the Nathan Lucas hit against Fernando Cruz to right
Yeah.
field. Like so many different moments in that series. Jeff Hoffman closing it out, and so the Yankees come back to Toronto for the first time since last year, and even like outside of the postseason against the Yankees, the regular season the Yankees did not play well at all at Rogers Center, and you think of Canada Day and us 4 games sweeping them without Bo Bichette or Dalton Varsho. And so historically kind of being like this year and last year, the
Yeah.
Yankees have not done so well at Rogers Center, and that continued into the first game, which was like great for me. I was like, wow, the Yankees just suck. We got John Boy Media there, and they're just like, oh, what's going on? And then it was just a great feeling to have that like just beating the Yankees at home feeling again, and man, that first game was something to watch with Alejandro Kirk coming back. And boy, did the last 2 games disappoint. Like they were just so lackluster and such a like disappointing viewing experience. And even at the end of the games, end of the last 2 games with the home runs, just kind of backbreaking as well. Just kind of
Yeah.
takes all momentum out of things. And so, real disappointing way to finish it with the series loss against the New York Yankees after how it started. And yeah, we'll get into some series struggles here. And
Yeah.
so our first note and our first thing we'll talk about here under the series struggles is not a Toronto Blue Jays player. It's a New York Yankees player, and he goes by the name of Jose Caballero. And all we have under Jose Caballero is he's just an annoying baseball player, and he's frustrating to watch. And maybe that kind of led to John Schneider's frustration, and that boiled over later in the game. But Caballero taking too much time, and he's done this before with the New York Yankees, doing anything possible to get into the pitcher's head. And it's great to have on your team. It's a huge asset that is not quantified. Well, it may be quantified, but it's not a huge stat. Just like takes a lot of time to set up and just do that kind of thing. But beyond that, it's the component that he brings, just the mental side of things, the mental toughness, and how he just gets opposing pitchers just so frustrated. And he did that in the last game of the series, and he's good. He's a really good fielder, can put the bat to the ball. And then added on top of that, he has all of his antics, which just kind of makes him a frustrating player to watch if he's not on your baseball team.
Yeah, I mean, it was probably exaggerated a little bit the frustration from Schneider just because the bats were not going, right? Like if it was just
Yeah.
the Caballero thing and we're up like 8-1 or whatever, he probably doesn't care, right? Like, okay, we used to have Chris Bassett do that all the time, right? On the mound. Different story because it's a pitcher, not a hitter. Dude, he would just roll his neck around and kind of adjust the glove and take his sweet time and let the clock go down to 1 every time. And it worked. Like I didn't mind it. Like you just said, when it's on your team, you don't mind it. Or like he did it for us. So I don't think it was so much just to that. I think it's just a result of how poorly the team was hitting the last couple of days. And I guess the pitching as well, aside from Kevin Gosman, which we'll get to, was great. Aside from him, kind of some up and downs. But like I wanted to kind of talk it through a little bit. Like what actually was he doing? He was just running it down to 8 because I think the batter, what is it? Batter has to be in the box by 8 seconds. I think, to look at the pitcher. So he just what? He just wasn't looking at the pitcher by 8 seconds, or is that how you saw it?
Yeah, so like the batter has to be like the pitcher can't come towards the plate without the batter being set uh
Uh-huh.
like 8 seconds and on. And so what Caballero does is he just waits till the very last like millisecond till it hits eight, finally sets up, and then the pitcher's
Yeah.
kind of caught off guard. And
Huh.
like it's not something he's done for the first time and whipped it out this series. This is something uh talked about John Boy Media. They did a good job showing that one time, and like he's just so annoying when it comes to that stuff. But it's even like so many other aspects of the game that may not even be shown on TV that just kind of boils the opposing team and just sets them over the edge.
I mean, I don't mind John Boy, but like Joe's McFly is in town up in the up in the hotel at Rogers Center. I'm sorry, like some of the things he said about the team, I'm not really a fan of that guy. And of course, he comes in. Cam Schlittler with the comments as well. Like, I don't want to prove his point here because he says Jays fans are easy to rage bait. Like, I don't want to prove his point right here, but I don't. That's why I don't want to speak to him a lot. You know what? Give him his flowers. He was incredible. We just couldn't hit the guy. But with the Caballero thing, like he kept going on with the umps, right? Like it wasn't just a one-time thing. He just kept barking at him like every
The
other
whole
pitch.
at bat, he was barking with the
Yeah,
umpire. Very, very strange. You usually want to get
yeah,
on the good side of the umpire, and with him, he was
yeah,
just like kind of going at, getting in the
yeah.
upset for some reason, which is not something you want to do.
That's what I'm saying. Like Cam, I'm not getting rage baited here. Like that's not what's happening. I'm just trying to understand why does Caballero need to keep barking about it, right? Like, because it seemed like he tried to do it again almost immediately. Like maybe not the next pitch right after, but he instantly tried to do the same thing again. Where it's like his head is down, and we're winding down 10, 9, 8, and he's just not looking at the pitcher. So I'm like, well, that's your own doing. Just look at the pitcher. Every other batter just looks at the pitcher by 8 seconds, right? You got to be in the box looking at the pitcher. So I'm like, what? I don't understand what he's upset about. How they kept him in that long, him barking that long, and then Boone comes out and neither one gets ejected. That was kind of surprising to me because I'm like, John Schneider's going to get ejected surely if these guys don't get ejected because I thought they would get ejected first, but they somehow didn't. I'm like, how long is the leash on the player? Like, I wonder what is the leash for umpires with managers and players? Like, I feel like they have a shorter leash with managers. I just feel like, you know what, you come out, you're barking out of the
Yeah.
dugout. You got to make a long way out of the dugout. They see that. Okay, I don't even want you to come to me right here. I'm just going to toss you, go back to the dugout. That never happens, obviously, because managers have it out with the umps. But I'm like, I feel like they have a shorter leash. Like they seem to kind of drag it on a little bit. Some guys, like a Bryce Harper, usually if he throws his helmet down or something, he's gone immediately. Like they don't have a long leash for him. But I feel like for players more so than managers, like maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm just crazy, I don't know. But I just feel like they have a longer leash for players because it felt like they kept Caballero in a long time there. He kept, like we said, kept barking, and they just like didn't care. I guess I don't know.
Yeah, well, I think it's the impact players have on the game. Like they just have the
Yeah,
ability to like make the game. Without the players, there's no game. If you
yeah,
want to throw a batting coach out, like do it. Like it just
yeah,
like doesn't really matter. If you throw a player out, you got to replace the player. Who knows the impact of the player on the ball club? Just a
yeah,
lot more going on there than just throwing like Aaron Boone out.
yeah. I
So
guess. I
yeah.
just thought at some point in the series, like, yes, the Yankees won the series. I just thought Booney just sitting there chewing on that gum, I just thought at some point he'd get upset about something, but no, didn't. And also, didn't Pop get thrown out for us in the series? I don't know if it was this series or one of the past series, but I think David Popkins got tossed at one point too. Might have been Friday's
Yeah,
game.
recently cannot remember if it was within the
Yeah.
series, but he got amped up too and
Yeah,
got
he got
thrown.
really heated too. Like we got some really angry guys in that dugout. Think of like how friendly the Jays are supposed to be, and like all the families get along and all the players and all that. Like these guys can get heated, man. Like remember, what's coming to mind right now? The George Springer ejection, I think from like 2024 against the Angels. If you remember that one, for those of you listening out there, you remember that one. Springer was heated on that one. Some of the ejections we've had in the past, like guys can get really pissed. And obviously it starts with Schneider, obviously. I mean, he's what is he at? Like 14, I think, career ejections now they showed, like two already this season.
It's a lot more than I thought. I think it is like 14. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
And then John Gibbons is at like 53 or something. Like it's
Oh my God. He's got a lot of work to do. Gibby, I don't remember how long Gibby was around, but it didn't feel like it was that long. Like just kind of mid 2010s kind of thing. And he racked them up, I
yeah.
guess. Like crazy. Yeah, of course. Who is his right hand man? DeMarlo Hale. Who's still here? DeMarlo Hale. Like, shout out to him. I don't think ever we're gonna mention DeMarlo Hale again on this show, but there we go. I mean, I guess he gets to be the acting manager where Schneider gets tossed. He's been here what, 4 years now, Schneider? This is his fourth year. Well, his 2022, it was like halfway through, right? 14, I don't know. I guess that's a lot. Would be curious to see how many Boone has because I guarantee you Boone has more. I mean, the best to me is always going to be the, what do you want to call it, Sacramento, because I guess they're just the A's now when we were out there, because it wasn't Oakland anymore. I think last year we had to walk all the way to center field. Like nothing's ever going to beat
Yeah.
that one. But the one today, dude, Schneider went on a long time. Like I know we actually don't have that here, but it's just coming to my mind right now. Like that was a long time he went on there. So I'll leave a little bit more of the Schneider talk for later, but I just thought that was great him back in the boys because that's what you got to do as a manager, like at least earn your money, right? So shout out to him for doing that, I guess.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Yeah. We'll get to that more later because that's it's really our biggest series standout is
Yeah,
just John Schneider sticking up for the boys. So
yeah,
we'll get to that after. Another one for series struggles is I like probably the lead component to John Schneider's frustration is
yeah.
the sheer amount of base runners left on by the
Oh
Toronto Blue Jays, whether those be in scoring position or just at first base. And so that they left 25 runners on in all three games, and they were like 4 for 18 with runners in scoring position. It wasn't like big enough for me to throw in there because the game one skewed everything. I think game one they were 3 for 7, but then the last two games they were like 1 for like 11. So the first game
oh,
kind of skewed the numbers, but
oh,
either way, left on base or in scoring position, like it was just it was a really tough watch, and it's an evident stat when you're watching the Jays right now. It's just like they cannot get anyone home,
nope.
and Alejandro Kirk helped with that. Like we'll get to Kirk and his impact on the team. He helped with that quite a bit. I mean, his first plate appearance, he drove in a guy. It was a RBI double, and so Kirk, it's definitely wonderful to have him back. But as I said in the last episode, Alejandro Kirk is not going to fix
Yeah,
all of your
he's not.
problems. And so, with our series struggles section here, we don't have like individual batters we're going to talk about like usual. It's just like a team wide thing right now. It's just it feels like the exact same thing for each guy on the on this team and in the lineup. And like one guy that comes to mind, and we have him later in this list, is Charles McAdoo. I just
Yeah,
feel
good
like
time.
every time I watch him, he is in a like a position with runners in scoring position or guy on base, and he just hasn't done anything. He's been given some tough pitchers to go against too, like Cam Schlittler. When you were off like 3 4 days and you got to face Cam Schlittler, that's like a nightmare. And then today Will Warren, but I mean it's like Will Warren. It's not Cam Schlittler at all. So he was dealt a bit of a tough hand, but especially yesterday's game where I was tuning in on radio. Like I think it was bases loaded, popped out to the first baseman, and then something in super high leverage today as well. Just couldn't come up with anything, and so Charles McAdoo is one of them. But there's also so many other guys. Like it's just a lineup rampant thing right now, and that's really tough because it's not like you can look at a mechanical fix, right? It's just like you just got to get the boys going, get the
Yeah.
clubhouse going, and try to spark something. I don't know what the Blue Jays do to try to spark something. Um, I don't know what you do. Like, you're not going to fire anyone. I
No.
don't think you would. Who would you fire? You fire John Schneider? No, you're not firing John Schneider. Are you firing David Popkins? No, you're not firing David Popkins. Pete Walker? Well, the pitching staff has been fine. Like, it hasn't been great, but I mean, there's a lot of guys in there that just shouldn't be there. Like, think of
Yeah.
Brendan Little, then you
Yeah.
think of Max Scherzer and Patrick Corbin and guys just that shouldn't be there. He's done a decent job, so I don't really know what you do to kind of just get the whole team going because that's just what they need right now. And so it's been a tough stretch offensively, and I think this Yankees series, the last two games of this series, was just very very frustrating when it comes to trying to score runners and guys that are on base.
I got two options for you. Tell me which one you like better. For
Okay.
one game for the Boston series, when we go into that game one, two options. Do you flip the lineup completely? Charles McAdoo hits clean or hits lead off. George Springer hits
No,
last.
no.
Or does everyone play out of position for a game? If you had to pick between the two, if we're going something crazy here, and you had to pick between, they're trying to move Vlad to the leadoff spot. I'm sorry, that just didn't work. They tried putting him in the two spot, that just didn't work. Completely flip the order. McAdoo hits leadoff, Springer hits last, or play everyone out of position. If you had to go crazy and just think something to spark this team, which way are you going?
I mean, the whole like lineup stuff we've tried literally like we've tried so many different things, except taking George Springer out of the leadoff spot. So maybe that's where I start. Maybe not as drastic as completely flipping the lineup, but maybe you do something that kind of like shakes them up a bit. Like Vladdy in the leadoff spot was just like weird. It wasn't even like
Yeah,
changing like trying to get the clubhouse going. It was just like what? But if you move George Springer down in the lineup, I think that helps. He had a good first game, but outside of that, he hasn't done much. Like he really turned back the clock in the first game. It was a beautiful home run. It was a beautiful he was great on the bases, base running late in the game. And off the Ernie Clement double to the right fielder, Max Schumann, I think, in right field, and George Springer was great on the bases there. But maybe you do something like that, something uncharacteristic, not moving like Vladdy to like second in the lineup, like something like I don't know, just something more jarring. Like whoa,
hey,
that is weird. What's going on here? So. Um, yeah, I
I
don't think completely flipping the lineup, but maybe George Springer moving down to say 4 or 5 would do it.
Charles McAdoo leadoff. There's your charming move. Do it, you know what? Do it for a game and then just send the guy to AAA. You know, have your fun, take your 4 at bats, and then go. Of course, that's not going to happen. I'm just being crazy here because we're not doing anything. We're not hitting, right? If you were to actually flip the lineup, though, yeah, McAdoo would be one, but who's usually hitting 7 for us is Ernie. Like he would then become your 3 hitter. I don't like. I want hitting Ernie hitting towards the top. I want
Ernie's hitting
that.
like third right now. He's hit third a few games this
he
series.
he goes up and down, right? Like he'll have games where he's like 7 or 8, and he I guess kind of acts as like the second leadoff guy, kind of, but you're never really the 9 hitter. So it's like, why are you hitting 7 or 8? I don't know. But then yeah, you're right. Lately, like especially against lefties, they'll put him up there like Ryan Weathers, he was batting second, right? Because you don't want Lucas in there as your 2 hitter. But I feel like as a whole, if you look at the whole season, he's usually like a 7, maybe 8 hitter, right? Like Jimenez is always down there. You know, we had Valenzuela down there until he started hitting. It's like, why does Ernie keep staying that low? Like Okamoto, the way he's hitting, he's going to keep moving up, right? Sanchez, kind of average right now, like nothing special we've seen the last couple of weeks. He's always going to be kind of like 5 kind of thing. It's like Pinongo's been clean up the last couple of games. Like they like him up there. It's like, how do we get Ernie to the top of the lineup? Well, easy solution: get the 2 guys that are not hitting, Vlad and Springer, to the bottom of the lineup. Well, again, it's just not going to happen. Springer out of the leadoff spot, yeah, maybe that's the most realistic. But then again, he launched Friday night. Look, okay, right? Like, I just don't think with that veteran presence he has and what he's done just for this city, and again with the home run last year and everything, I just don't see them doing that move. Like last year, I think he might have accepted that because of how bad 23 and 24 were, right? Like maybe he's trying to hang on to the fact that I was good, like literally just a year ago, not even a full year ago, like a couple of months ago last season. Like there's got to be something left in the tank, but you're down like 300 points on the OPS. Again, we came into the season and I, like you said, you bring it up actually that I said a 110, 120 OPS plus, right, would be okay. He's got to be at what, like an 80 now, a 90 maybe? Is he? Because surely he's not at 100. I don't have the stats in front of me, but he can't be doing well. And again, we've done the Vlad story enough. We don't really need to focus on that. He didn't even really play in the series, right? Because he didn't play the last 2 games. I mean, the other name that's just coming to mind right now is Ben Rice, because I mean we have him next year on our notes, and I don't know what Braden Fisher was doing at the end. We can briefly touch on this when he came into the game 3-3, another game where you have a closer. I don't want to say closer because Braden Fisher's not your closer, but the guy coming into the ninth inning, right? Because it was Louis on Saturday, Braden Fisher today, with a 1-1 tie, then a 3-3 tie, immediate home run to Paul Goldschmidt. Well, today it was home run to Ben Rice. And then obviously Caballero. Of all people, Caballero had to hit one today, of course, 3-run shot. The Ben Rice thing. I mean, as much as the Fisher throw was bad, and yes, like what was he doing there? Like, what are you doing throwing from your butt, basically? Because he pretty much fell down as he was throwing the ball. That was bad. But regardless, that kind of helped because now you have a guy on second base. You have first base open for Ben Rice. Why are we pitching to Ben Rice? I don't know what your thought process is there. Tell me what you're thinking, but I know I wouldn't have pitched to Ben Rice there. You got Dominguez on deck. I'm sorry, who hasn't played a lot this year. Why are you pitching the guy that's been the best first baseman in the league this year?
Yeah, I mean it's a very fair point, and I agree. Like the Braden Fisher play was like just not smart, and
Yeah,
he
it's
didn't
silly.
think it
Yeah.
through. That the player was going to be safe whether or not he
Yeah.
like threw it to whoever the first baseman was today, McAdoo,
McAdoo.
and
Yeah.
and so like either way he was going to be safe. But if he doesn't make the error, then he's at first base. You have Ben Rice coming up, and then you're like, okay, we don't want to move him to second, right? We don't want to walk Ben Rice to move this runner to second and then have two on. But since he made the error, I mean, you got first base open. It kind of makes the decision a lot easier. And then you have Jason Dominguez, as you said, on deck, who is kind of an odd like three-hole hitter. Like he's not a
Yeah.
three-hole hitter. It's Jason Dominguez who was supposed to be like the second coming of like the next Yankee superstar. I guess after Anthony Volpe was supposed to be the next Yankee
Oh
superstar.
my God. Don't
So
even start with Anthony
um,
Volpe.
he had a great game, by the way. Shout out Anthony
Yeah.
Volpe. Great game three, offensively and defensively.
Yeah.
But in this scenario, I mean, you just got to walk Ben Rice, right? It does not make sense that you pitch to the best player on their team when it's not even like you're putting the winning run on. The winning run's already on. It's already in scoring position. You have a base open. I mean, you just got to walk him, right? And so the Blue Jays didn't do that, and they played with fire, and they got smoked. They got smoked, and it's like I like the move to go to Braden Fisher in that situation. I did. I did. I like bring Jeff Hoffman in the eighth inning. I thought Jeff looked really good. Shout out Jeff. He seemed amped up, and hopefully he gets his confidence all the way back. And so I like that. And then I was like, who are they going to go to in the ninth inning? And so Dan and Joe were talking about it, saying that Louis and Tyler Rogers were likely down today. Okay, next man up, Braden Fisher. I like it. I like it. Braden Fisher has been really
Yeah.
good this year, and think back to last year, super clutch, extra innings, high leverage moments like that. Bring him in. Okay, okay. And so, yeah, it's just disappointing how and frustrating how like the management of the late innings in these last two games kind of went down, and
Yeah.
especially game three when you just had a base open for Ben Rice and you choose to pitch to him, who is the best player on the Yankees right now, and so yeah, it just
Yeah.
kind of sucks that that all happened. And then for guys who did not tune into the game, it was not a blowout. It was a tie game going into the ninth inning. And so Ben Rice two-run shot, and then after that, it just kind of all derailed. And Braden Fisher allowed a few more guys to come on, and who knows? Like Braden Fisher walks Ben Rice, and he didn't pitch well after the Rice home run. So like if he continues to not pitch well after, say, walking Rice, it all kind of goes to garbage, right? If you don't pitch well, you're going to get bad results. So we can talk all we want about the hypotheticals, but he just like plainly didn't pitch well, and no
Yeah.
matter how you really manage things, it's hard to how to kind of navigate that, especially when you're down a lot of guys in the bullpen.
So for all the people now saying, well, Hoffman looked great today, why didn't we use him in the ninth? Have we
Yes.
not been saying all year that we do not want Jeff Hoffman in the ninth inning? Like, there's always just going to be people out there that are constantly going to criticize what the front office and what the coaching staff is doing, right? There's just always going to be people doing that. And it frustrates me because it's like, at some point, what do you want them to do? What, okay, DeMarlo Hale was in at the end, obviously, because it wasn't Schneider. He got ejected. Whether it was Schneider or Hale, or I don't care. It's Pete Walker as the acting manager. I, it's David Popkins as the acting manager. It's Gosuke Kato, who's somehow still in that dugout. I don't care who it is as the acting manager. What do you want them to do? We've been talking about Jeff Hoffman saying we don't want the guy in the ninth inning. Sure, he looked great today. Okay, he looked great in the what was it, the seventh inning that he came in, or the eighth inning? Yeah, because he came in after Fluharty, I think. Okay, how do you know that he would have come in the ninth inning and given up the same home run that uh, what do you call it? That Rice hit off Fisher, right? Hoffman could have done the exact same thing. How do you know accidentally he hangs a slider? Boom, it's sent a mile because Ben Rice absolutely killed that baseball. I'm sorry. Like that is the most no doubter of no doubter home runs I've ever seen in my life. He absolutely murdered that baseball. Who is to say Jeff Hoffman wouldn't have left the ball over the plate and Ben Rice would have done the exact same thing? So at some point, what do you want to do? Like you said, Louis is down. Tyler Rogers is down. Who are you going to? Are you going to SWR? Who are you going to at this point? Who is left in the bullpen? You can't use the Phillies used you on Duran 3 days in a row, right? Don Mattingly. We don't want to do that because we're using our guys way too much. Yohan Duran is at like 20 innings this year, 22 innings. Like Louis, and I think they showed a graphic actually today on the broadcast where he's at like 130 innings going back to the beginning of last season. Like at some point, how much are you going to use this guy? You can't use him, especially after he just gave up the home run yesterday as well. Give the guy a break for a day. You have an off day, sure, coming up on Monday, but like still 3 days in a row. You're probably going to use him in the Boston series as well. Like, give the guy a break. So I just don't know where people want to go with this. Like, who else do you want to use? And you think of the options that are left. You want Tommy Nance closing the game or coming in to try and keep the game tied if the guy's been on the shelf for a couple of weeks? And I'm sorry, I said it back in March that I'm okay with him not being on the baseball team anymore. Like, is that who you want? You know what? I kind of want. I'll save the Tommy Nance thing for later, actually, because I have a bit of an opinion on that because we need to talk about some bullpen additions. But just speaking to the bullpen as a whole, what the coaching staff has been doing with this bullpen, I don't know what people want anymore, right? Because sure, you could use Hoffman in the ninth inning, but we keep saying he doesn't have the confidence for the ninth. He's great in the eighth inning role. Okay, you have to suck it up one day with Braden Fisher one day as the guy in the ninth inning. And like you said, he's been good this year, right? He's got like a mid two ERA. He's done it before in the past. He's a guy that you can trust at the back end. He's been an opener. He's been at the back end of games. He's covered 2, 3 innings. He's done everything. Okay, he didn't have it for one game. I mean, at bottom line, as much as we can keep talking about this pitching stuff, I think it all goes back to the offense because we keep talking about how much pressure is the offense putting on the pitching because they don't hit with runners in scoring position. Like they don't score runs. 1 for 10 in the game yesterday, 2 for 7 in the game today. Like Kaz Okamoto gets the first run today. It's a ground ball to third base that they make an error on. Okay. Nathan Lucas gets a single at the end of the game or a double, I think, down the line. Didn't mean anything, right? Like it's meaningless hits when they finally get runners in scoring position. So as much as we can talk about the pitching stuff, I think we can leave it at this because I don't know what more you can say at the back end of the bullpen. There's nothing else to say. We keep talking about the lineup, right? Like, what is the fix? I don't know. Like moving Vlad around, I don't know. What's the fix at the back end of the bullpen? We'll pitch Louis V every single day of the week. Well, that's not going to happen. So I don't know what people want. It's a bit of a moot point. It sucks for one day and move on to the Boston series and hopefully have Louis V fresh for game one and just take a game there. But yeah, you're right. It just sucks the way that ended. And yeah, Ben Rice absolutely killed that baseball.
Yeah, and like you just got to score runs. And the New York Yankees are a really good offense.
Yeah,
I think they were like fourth in WRC plus
probably.
with Aaron Judge to start the year. And then if you take Aaron Judge completely out of the equation, they're like eighth, which is
Yeah.
crazy. And it's still effective. Like it's still affected by Aaron Judge, like his placement in the lineup. Other guys get more pitches to hit and things like that. But Aaron Judge aside, the New York Yankees still have a very good lineup. Ben Rice, Jazz Chisholm starting to cut now, starting to cook now. He had a
Yeah.
really good series against us. Like was on base throughout all
Yeah.
three games, and and so this is a really good Yankees team. I mean, Paul Goldschmidt is like
Oh my God.
back to like prime Paul
How?
Goldschmidt. It's pretty insane. But so you got to score runs. You can't like you just know they're going to score at least 4 or 5 runs every game, the Yankees, and so you got to counter that. And we kept it close, but then at the end of the day, the New York Yankees broke free and
Yeah.
scored their runs that they were um, supposed to score early in the game. And then after that, we're just like, oh, it's the bullpen's fault. We just got to score runs. We just got to score runs, and
Yeah.
it'll all fall into place. So it's been frustrating just seeing our lineup um, not click at all, especially with our key players who we pay a lot of money to have on this ball club. And so, so yeah, and another guy who didn't have a good time against the Yankees was a guy who killed the Yankees last postseason, and it was Trey Savage, a guy who absolutely shredded the Yankees. You think of Trent Grisham, calling time in the postseason last year, and Trey Savage doesn't step off at all. He's completely locked in. And then
Yep.
I just remember Cody Bellinger acting like he hasn't seen like a splitter before, and same thing with Jazz Chisholm. Like those guys just look completely out of whack. And so he had a really rough start. Again, I think it was Friday night, and
Yep.
it's been a recurring theme um, like recently for Trey, and that's very like command wise. His velo's okay, like it's just like Trey's velo, whatever. His command has been quite brutal. He's had 6+ walks in two of his last three outings, and that's brutal. Like you cannot walk like 3+, and then six is like so excessive. I think it was seven uh like a week or two ago.
Yep.
And I remember that outing. It was a brutal watch because none of his pitches were clicking at all. He still ended up going 5 innings, 1 run, but there's only so much like there's only so many times you can do that. You can get away
Hmm.
with all these walks, get away with stranding runners and things like that, and it caught up to him. And with the New York Yankees, he walked six guys and went 5 innings, but this time not allowing one earned run, but five. And so you got to see Trey land the splitter more. That's been a huge thing. The splitter sometimes is just completely out of the equation, and that's his best weapon. That's his best weapon. His fastball's good. His fastball's very good. It's from a wicked arm slot. It's got some ride to it, decent
Yep.
velo, but his splitter's his best pitch. And so when
Yeah.
you just have zero command of that pitch, you got to scrap it just from the arsenal for that day, right? And so Trey can't afford to just scrap his splitter because it's his best pitch, and also he can't rely on his fastball and slider, right? He's got to have his splitter. His fastball and slider just aren't good enough to be a two-pitch guy. It's not like a Kevin Gausman fastball splitter, right? It's Trey Savage's fastball and slider. So he needs the splitter into the equation to be the Trey Savage we're accustomed to seeing. And I mean he's at what like a 3.5 ERA. Like it's still not bad, but I mean like a few weeks ago he was at a 1. So in his past few starts it's been like I wonder what his walks per nine is from like his past three starts. It's got to be like eight or seven or
Yeah.
eight, which is just
Yeah.
like brutal. So I like he'll get it together. And another thing of this is we knew Trey was gonna like battle adversity eventually. It wasn't going to be the Trey
Yeah.
Savage we saw from the postseason where it's just pure dominance every outing. And so going into this year, I said this. I thought it was going to be like a 4.5 ERA. Comes out, it's like a 1 for his first few starts. And I remember when he was getting built up, getting his innings built up, he was at like 3 innings and 4 innings and 5 innings, allowing one or no runs in all of those outings. And now just recently it seems like he's lost his command a bit, which is okay, which is good for a young pitcher to go through. And so it'll be interesting how Trey counteracts his struggles of late.
So I pulled it up. I don't have walks per nine, but I have his last four starts 22 and a third innings, 17 walks, and per game, this is just his average for the innings that he's pitched, 4.3. It's just not like you said. It's just not going to cut it right at the major league level. Like you said, he got away with the one against the Orioles. I don't know how he only gave up one run because he gave up only two hits, I think, in that game. I guess that's how. And the defense has been good. But like you said, at some point it's going to come back to bite you, especially when you're facing the Yankees lineup that has the most home runs in the game. Right? Like it's not just Aaron Judge that's doing it. They got Ben Rice and the other guys. And go figure as well. His arguably maybe not a better start, but just as good start against the Yankees came earlier this year, like literally not even a month ago. Remember in the Bronx against Camp Schlittler and the game that got delayed and they started at like 9 p.m. or something like
Yeah.
that. He went six shutty with eight punchies in that game. And we thought, okay, here's the Savage of old against the Yankees that we saw in the playoffs. Well, again, at some point, everyone has a bad start against a certain team. Like, think of Kevin Gausman, right? Who's been dynamite, like ever since he came to the Jays. I know I keep saying Dylan Cease is the ace and all that. Kevin Gausman keeps trying to show me why that may not be the case, but for the time that he's been with the Jays, yeah, he's been excellent. He's had the odd blow up start, I know, against the Yankees. I can just picture Aaron Judge sending him 400 feet to left field at the Yankee Stadium. Like it's happened in the past, right? Where you hang a pitch and it just happens. You're going to have a bad outing against a certain team. I'm hoping this is the one that trade just kind of gets out of the way. And then next time he sees the Yankees, which I don't know when, I feel like we're not going to see them for a while because we saw them a couple of times here, right? With the series in the Bronx and then now in Toronto. So whenever we see them next. And if he lines up to be in a series there, I'm just hoping by then he figures it out. Like this is his real first, like you said, his real first rough spell. Like he didn't really go through it at all in 25, which is crazy to think. The three starts that he had in the regular season and the playoffs, yeah, like game two, I think it was game two of the ALCS against the Mariners. Kind of iffy, but still battled, got a lot of double plays, got a lot of, even game six as well, had like the three straight innings of double plays. He was getting out of it, right? He was getting helped a lot. Well, at some point, the major league level, the luck is going to run out, right? Unfortunately. Yeah, the biggest thing is the command. I'm not worried about the fastball. The slider that kind of like moves the wrong way, right? Because the arm angle that he has, it doesn't move like a traditional slider. Not worried about that. It's just the splitter. I remember last year when he gave up the Max Muncy home run in game seven. And it's not just that. Like, I think Josh Naylor took him deep at some point. Some other guys, it's because he's hanging the splitter right over the plate. It's either right over the plate or he throws it way above the catcher's head or it's right in the ground. Right. And it's a tough pitch. Like a lot of guys are wild with the splitter. I'm sorry. I don't know if Camilo Doval has one or there's some guys like Fernando Cruz, I think, has one. He sometimes just spikes it in the ground. It happens. Like that is what the splitter is. You're going to spike it in the ground sometimes. So hoping he can figure it out. Not worried as of now. It's a 3.78 ERA. You mentioned like a 3.5. It's 3.78. We're creeping up to 4. And like you said, a 4 ERA on the season is okay. I went crazy in the offseason. I said like top 10 Cy Young, and this guy's going to surprise us and all that. Okay, maybe. It's possible, right? Put together a couple of good starts, maybe. But yeah, go through the growing pains a little bit. You have some big dogs at the top of the rotation. You can go through a couple of struggles. We're okay with that. If it starts to continue over, 5, 6, 8 stretch start, I'm worried. I'm not for now. I think he's going to figure it out. Just get the walks down. It's the walks. That's it. Aside from that, he's not really getting hit hard, right? Like from what I'm seeing, he's not really getting crushed. Like the guys aren't really getting to him and hitting him for power. So I think if he figures out the walks, he'll be okay.
Yeah, yeah. The Blue Jays have to worry a lot about a lot more
Yeah,
and a lot more in the lineup and a lot more about this team before we can even talk about worrying about Trey Savage. So
yeah,
not worried at all when it comes to Trey, and he's shown an ability to bounce back no matter
yeah.
what he's seen and gone through thus far and in the big leagues and even in the minor leagues and getting through that as well. And now moving on to just some outfield defense. So. Jesus Sanchez just had a rough time today where there was a fly ball out there and he just well it was Jesus Sanchez, but it was also I feel like just the left fielders in this series having a really rough time over there. I think Jose Caballero even late in the game was kicking some balls out there and so Jesus Sanchez had a rough time out there and luckily the runner didn't advance today when he was kicking it out there. He just stayed at second base. I think it was Jason Dominguez didn't advance, and that was a crucial part of the game as well. And then Yohendrick Pinago, outfield defense as well. Both subpar, we know that. And so just kind of goes back to John Schneider's point of opening that DH spot a little bit. Maybe we can slot one of these two guys in there and kind of make it more of a dynamic with George Springer instead of like a shoe-in DH option. But it's tough to it's tough when these guys are fielding in the outfield, especially when we're accustomed to seeing such great fielders out there. Addison Barger, Nathan Lucas is he's a really good outfielder. He just is. He can track fly balls down.
Yeah.
He's got a really good arm and Dalton Varsho in his prime and Kevin Kiermaier and then we finally asked for the bats and instead of the fielders and then once we get the bats, we're like, oh, they don't field. So, so
Ugh.
if they can just develop that part of the game, I think that would be like they would be such whole players. But right now, for Jesus Sanchez and Yohendrick Pinago, the one part of both of their games that just sticks out is the outfield defense side of things.
Well, we're going to be close to a fully healthy outfield soon, right? Like, I know we'll get to Barger later. We're going to talk about him, but once you get him back, it could be Barger, Lucas, Varsha once he's healthy too, because he's got the wrist thing. We're not going to really mention it a lot here. I think they say it's the minimum 10-day that Varsha is going to be dealing with it. Like, they were kind of debating, do we need an IL stint? He's on the 10-day, I think. So once he comes back, that should be short. Barger probably back soon, and Lucas, you can make a good defensive outfield out there, right? And then if on the given day, maybe you like the matchup of Sanchez batting against one of the right-handed pitchers, put him into start, and Lucas can go in later for defensive purposes, right? So once you have these guys back and healthy, You can play with that, a good defensive outfield, because basically it's like, okay, he's still got Miles Straw, obviously. Like he's going to be there. And I guess for now he starts against lefties. Like, I don't know. Like, I guess he's been doing that a lot. He's been doing okay. He's just going to poke a ball down the line. He's okay. But Nathan Lucas and basically everyone else defensively in terms of the starting nine, because like you said, it's Pinongo not really doing it. Sanchez not really doing it. I guess there's no one else you're really going to fit into the outfield. But remember when we were throwing out like, oh, does Kaz go to left field for a little bit? Like, I don't know how I'd feel about Kaz in left field either. And then who's the other obvious guy? It's George. Like, and didn't Schneider say a couple of days ago, like George is going to have to get used to playing the outfield a little bit, right? And maybe get some right field time. He hasn't played right field yet. Am I missing something? They still haven't tested that. Maybe they'll test it in Fenway. I don't know. Like, is that the place to do it? I don't want him crashing into the into the monster. I don't want him doing that. Like again, with the stage of his career, I don't know that Springer would be. He probably would be a better fielder than these guys, but how much better? And like I remember the couple of games, it was very minimal. Didn't really play a lot of field last year, but it just felt like, okay, I mean, like the Steven Souza home or the Steven Souza ball. I don't know if you remember that, where he was like 30 feet away from it back when he played with the Rays. I don't get like exactly those vibes. Obviously, George Springer's not like that. Listen, I'm not comparing it to that. I'm not. I'm not. But I'm saying there were a couple of plays where it just felt like he would lay out, throw his body out there, and the ball maybe wasn't right there where he could have grabbed the ball. And I just don't want him throwing his body on the ground like that when we're trying to get something out of the bat, right? Which is the whole point of having him as the DH. So, like Davis Schneider does that a lot, right? He just throws his body at the ball and he makes some incredible catches, but he's also like, what, 25, 26? I don't mind him doing that at this stage in his career. Plus, he's not really hitting right now. So, what are you losing with the bat? Yeah, we'll get to him later. I know he had a home run, but not really doing a whole lot with the bat, right? So, Springer in the outfield, I guess I feel better than Pinongo and Sanchez out there. And you put one of those two guys as the DH, but I just feel like it's a tough conversation because making the 36-and-a-half-year-old go out to the outfield when he hasn't really done it the last 3 years, I don't know if that's a comfortable conversation. And I don't know how much more value he's going to provide you defensively at that point. And when you want him to focus on hitting, now he goes to the outfield. Does he lose even more with the bat? You can't afford to lose any more with the bat with Springer, right? So tough conversation. I just think, again, when I mentioned, like, does he play 4 out of every 6 days? I just think if there's a good righty on the mound, you got to play the lefties. That's just where I'm at with it, I think.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. Like, uh, don't put George Springer in the field to compromise his offense, which is like the main part of his game. It's why he's
Yeah.
batting every day. And so yeah, I get that part. And also his age and mixed with lack of sprint speed is not a great combo to put a guy out there
Yeah.
in the outfield. And I assume that if he does play in the outfield, it'll be left field rather than right field. I don't think they'll put him in right field.
No.
And
Yeah.
so maybe they do that. Well, we'll see what happens. I don't know if that's a cure for the defensive problems in the outfield, but we'll see. Maybe it is. And so the next one is just Vladimir Guerrero Jr. as well as Andres Jimenez going down this series with injuries. So Vladimir Guerrero Jr. In the first game seemed to have had a back problem, and so in my head I was like an IL stint wouldn't be the worst thing ever. And it would suck because our whole team has been injured at some point this season. But this guy plays every single day, every single game. And it's very Ernie Clement-ish, where if he's battling something, he's not going to hit the IL so he can fully recover. He's going to play through everything because
Yeah.
we just need him to. And so we probably don't know half the stuff that he's going through health-wise. And so Vladimir Guerrero Jr. hurt his back. He hasn't had a plate appearance or an at-bat since. It seemed like he was going to bat at the end of
Yeah.
today's game, but then Alejandro Kirk hit a ball super hard to Anthony Volpe. He made a good play to end the ball game. So couldn't get to see Vladimir Guerrero Jr. bat today, but I assume he'll be back in the lineup against the Red Sox on Tuesday.
Yeah.
If not, then it's a concern. We got the off day tomorrow. I think if Vladdy doesn't that Tuesday. I think there's a concern level that rises there to the point of an IL stint, similar to Dalton Varsho, where you're just kind of holding on to the guy and hoping he can get better, and then they finally pulled the plug and put him on the IL. And then with Andres Jimenez, what was the injury there? I'm trying to
It
think.
was it was the wrist when it was the Schlittler game, the
It
Saturday
was
game
the
when he's diving
slide.
into first base. Yeah, and somehow jammed the thumb or something like that. Like what a stupid thing, right? Like how does that happen? And now he's
Yeah,
hurt, right?
yeah. Tremendous play. Got a nice
Yeah,
single against Littler, but it
yeah.
came at a cost, and
Yeah.
so that sucks too.
You get Kirk back Friday and pretty much immediately lose Vlad, Jimenez, and Varsho. Three guys, 3 for 1, going the wrong way. We talk about the offense. Take a step forward Friday, 2 steps back Saturday, Sunday. You lose the 2 games. You can't hit with runners in scoring position. Okay, we can play the same game with the injuries. You get Kirk back, immediately lose 3 guys. What? What is our luck? As much as we don't want to keep talking about the injuries, right? And this is the reason why this ball team is losing games. It's not just that the guys on the field, we've talked about this endlessly as well, are not performing, a la Springer and a lot of other guys in the lineup, just not doing it. Yes, some of it is the injury, some of it is poor performance. It's just the timing of it to me is just so strange and fascinating. Like, how do you immediately get a guy back that you've missed for a couple of months here? One of the more, they keep talking about it, one of the more crucial parts to this team, the backstop, right? The captain of the team, as they keep calling him, finally back. You're thinking, wow, like we haven't seen Kirk play in a long time. Like immediately, like you said, 3 for 3, great. And then you lose 3 other guys who are, again, still integral parts to this team. Varsho, your best defensive outfielder, got some pop in that bat. Vlad's supposed to be your superstar. Jimenez supposed to be a platinum glover at short. Like, you lose all these guys immediately. I don't think it's anything long term. Obviously, like Jimenez, they said get the off day Monday, should be back in there. Again, if Vlad's on deck in this game, I assume he's good to go Tuesday, right? Like I don't think they would put him out there if they're considering an IL stint, because I don't think with Varsho they were ever considering giving him an at bat. He did get a couple of chances where he was on the bases, right? He was running a couple of times. I don't think they ever thought to put a bat in his hand. So that goes to tell you what they think about the wrist. He's probably not ready to swing. Vlad looked like he was ready to swing, so the back looked okay. Jesus Sanchez had one today as well, where he like took a giant swing and then just immediately pulls at his back like
Good
this.
point. Yeah.
He's a very smiley guy, a very happy guy, like very expressive. And I'm like, are you just happy again? Like that was a great swing. You love the swing you took. Are you actually in pain? So it's hard to tell with the guy. I think he was okay. Again, like you said, we have no idea what these guys are feeling, right? We're not in the training room. We have no idea what work is being done on them or where they're sore, what they're feeling. We have no idea. We can only assume that they're okay because we see them playing on the field, but they're human beings just like us. We have no idea what they're feeling, just especially after the playoff run last year. So I'm assuming with Vlad and Jimenez, it's a short term thing. Obviously, not expecting anything with Sanchez. Sanchez has done that before. Like, this isn't the first time where he's kind of like pulled at his back and then he's okay. So, nothing there. Varsho should be the minimum. And then, you know what? Once you get these guys back, you get Varsho back, Barger eventually back. What more excuses can we make for the injuries? Like, Shane Bieber's going to be back as well if you want to talk about the rotation. But who else is left? Like, we've gotten all the guys. Kirk is back, right? These guys are going to be short term, like day to day thing. They'll be back. Barger will be back. Like, so we're getting very, very close to the territory of you can't make excuses for the injuries anymore. The guys on the field just have to play. And if you want to keep comparing to 2025, comparing this team to 25, well, it was pretty much June and going into end of June, early July when the team started picking it up. I'm not really seeing the signs of the team picking it up right now. That's just the unfortunate truth. I obviously wish that wasn't the case. Like maybe something will spark Canada Day. The Mets will come to town with Bo, and that's going to spark something. Maybe that'll be the case. But just unfortunately, as it stands right now, I know we'll get into series standouts here, but it's just I'm not seeing, I guess, that glimmer of hope, right? Given the way the offense is performing, and we can't keep making the excuses for the injuries.
Yeah, I mean, last year it was just totally different.
Yeah.
Quality of contact completely different.
Oh
I
yeah.
remember Addison Barger coming up, and he wasn't like his batting average did not look good his first few games last year, but
Yeah.
he stung the ball every single time. Same thing with Vladdy. He's always had the quality of contact until this year, and
Yeah.
so just that's why we have no hope right now. It's just there's been no signs of like hard hit balls,
Yeah.
and our plate discipline was a million times better last year. The Toronto Blue Jays this year have the worst, like second worst chase percentage in the whole league, and we don't
Oh
walk,
man.
and so like just it is different than last year, as much as I hate to say it, and for the worse. So hopefully they turn it around. Hopefully we got
Yep.
some guys that are healthy and come back and make a difference, and we turn the ship around. But as of right now, there's really no signs for hope offensively. That could change We see Vladdy go on a heater, have 6 homers in a week. Cool, the offense is humming again. But as of right now, I don't see any of that happening. Um, it's baseball. Like anything can change any given
Yep.
day. So that's the one reason for hope, I guess. We're talking about the sport of baseball, which is very unpredictable, and so that's the one glimmer of hope, I think. And now just moving on to series standouts. We talked about John Schneider a bit, and we'll just touch on him a bit more. So I liked it. He was so animated, and I liked it a lot. We're in a tie game late in the game. Jeff Hoffman gets called for a stupid balk, puts a guy at third. Like that's the winning run at third right there. And so of course he's heated about it. Of course he is. And so he's like walking with the umpire up the line and things like that. And DeMarlo Hale trying to hold him back, but also not holding him back. It was kind of
No.
a weird thing going on there. I liked it. I was like,
Yeah.
we're late in the game. This is how we finish it right here. We got to get the guys amped. Got to do something like that. And so I liked it a lot, and we just came out flat the rest of the game. And so like there's only so much coaches can do, and John Schneider tried to do what he could do there, right?
Yeah.
And he got ejected and got his money's worth, but it just didn't show in the team's response to John Schneider standing up for them. So um, great on John Schneider, and just rough to see kind of the response because usually teams are just fired up, and you could see the fans just like giving John Schneider a huge applause after his little performance there, and it wasn't backed up by the Jays' performance after his ejection.
Well, you want to talk about a glimmer of hope and saying that we're not really seeing the light right now. Maybe this is it. Maybe this is the spark. Because I remember saying, like with Vlad, maybe Vlad can just get a home run, right? Or just crush a ball to the wall, 115 off the bat. That'll get it going. Well, like you said, it's just not happening offensively. Maybe this is what they needed, right? Maybe this gets the boys going in the dugout when they get back to the dugout or back into the clubhouse, right? Maybe this is what gets them going. And if I think back to the A's one last year, I'm pretty sure the way that was going, that was the series going right into the All-Star break against the A's. You dropped the series to the A's, who were still kind of like a middling team at that point, not really great, didn't have the starting pitching, which they still don't have at this point. And you lose the series to them, and then immediately, I think, sweep the Giants right out of the All-Star break. So, kind of found a little bit of momentum there. I'm not saying the Jays are going to go into Boston and sweep the Red Sox. As much as the Red Sox have not been good this year, they're like 10 games under. We talk about the Jays struggles. Like, it's been bad in Boston, man. Like it's been really bad there. Maybe the spark something and you can sweep a series there. We'll get to our predictions later, but I'm just hoping this is maybe the little spark that they needed. I don't know, because that gets you fired up. Like I guarantee the players are getting fired up as well when they see that, right? That is the role of the manager. And I guarantee he did something right because you look at the reaction of the fans immediately, all standing up and backing him, giving him a standing O as he's walking off the field. And I talked about the leash as well, like with umps and the managers. Like you said, immediately third base ump comes running over and starts trying to like push him, like you said, to get to the dugout. Like immediately, he didn't want any of it dealing with the home plate ump. Immediately trying to push him out because I think he was the crew chief, the third base ump, John Tumpane, I think was the name, trying to just push him to the dugout. Schneider was just not having it, like you said. I don't think DeMarlo Hale was trying to do anything, to be honest. Like might have been kind of like acting as the guy that's trying to be the peacemaker and maybe pull him out of it. But at the same time, he like didn't have hands on him or anything. He was just kind of there, like kind of letting him have it, right? And, which I like. I've never seen it go on that long, to be honest. The A's one, yeah. The A's one, he went on for a long time because he had to walk all the way to center field. So he's barking the whole way he's going to center field. But there's no going to center field at the Rogers Center. You're just going right back into the clubhouse. So walking up the third base line the entire time barking at him, I haven't seen yet at Rogers Center. So yeah, again, when we talk about not there being a lot of hope right now with the offense, I'm hoping this is it. I'm hoping the players get it going. Hoffman looked great to end out the inning, right? He got a strike out there. I think it was Volpe right at the end there, ball way outside, but you know what? It's a good slider. So he swung at it. Hoffman was pumped up, did the little shoulder shrug again. So maybe that gets the boys going, right? Like if Schneider doesn't do that, maybe Hoffman's not as amped up, right? So I'm just hoping that is what kind of sparks them a little bit going into the Red Sox series because there's just nothing else offensively except for one guy who came back Friday night, who we touched on briefly, Alejandro Kirk, the captain, El Capitan, who came in Friday night, 3 for 3 immediately. Look good. I think was it first pitch of the game as well with a challenge? I know it wasn't great Sunday. He missed a couple
Yeah, yeah,
calls
yeah.
Sunday, The first pitch of the game Friday, immediately challenges and gets it right. I'm not worried that he missed two on Sunday. Okay, it's going to happen. He's a human. But if there's any guy that I trust on this baseball team with the challenge strike zone or the ABS strike zone, it's him. He is the guy that I trust every single time, and he rakes as much as we love Brandon Valenzuela, my king. I absolutely love you. Alejandro Kirk, I'm sorry, is just really good, and he needs to play on this baseball team. Figure out a way to split the time, but huge to see him back in the series. He looked like he hadn't missed a beat.
Oh, for sure. And you can talk all you want about him going 4 for 7 in the series, 3 for 3 in game one.
Yeah,
You look at game three, he had some wicked picks. Like I
good
remember
point.
Braden Fisher late in the game, wicked picks. I don't know if like Brandon Valenzuela, with how good he's been, makes those picks. It's just Alejandro Kirk next level, and he,
Yeah,
he almost got a back pick today too at first base on Jazz
yeah.
Chisholm. Didn't end up getting him, but close play. So like you just kind of forgot how much of an impact Alejandro Kirk has on this team because of how good Brandon Valenzuela has been recently. He's been like the best hitting catcher for like a month, which is just nuts. So we've been kind of spoiled with that. And then when Alejandro Kirk comes back, we're like, okay, like cool, whatever, just like pick up from where Valenzuela's been. Well, Alejandro Kirk is an all-star catcher, and I thought he showed that in all levels of the game. Maybe besides base running, he hit a ball into the gap and didn't advance a second, and but that's just Alejandro Kirk. That's part of the viewing experience,
Yep.
right? So great series for him. Great to have him back. And then Kazuma Okamoto. This is probably the funnest one out of all these
Yep.
standouts. Two homers in the series. His second homer, like a line drive just over the left field wall. Well, the first one, not really like that. He pulled on a fastball and he pulled it all the way to the 500 level in left field. Holy smokes. Like I've had the pleasure of staying in the Marriott at Rogers Center for my Sweet 16,
Yeah. There
and
you go.
that wasn't like all that far from a room up there. Like it was hit crazy far. So the first home run hit to the 500 level since 2017. And so like just crazy stuff. And shout out Kaz doing this against our rivals in the New York Yankees.
You know what? I actually stayed in a similar spot as well. I think it was like the social club or park, whatever, in like left field, right
Yeah,
up
yeah,
there.
Park Social, yeah.
Yeah, Park Social, something like that. I was right up there too for a game. I think back when I was the same thing like you, like 16, 17, something like that. I mean, dude, you're right. Like it was literally up there. If it just went a little bit more to the right, it was going to hit Park Social. And there's people up there that are, probably having a good time and maybe drinking or whatever. They're up there. They're probably not expecting a baseball to go up there, of all things. Like they're always given the advisories of always watch for baseballs around the stadium. You're probably not thinking 500 level in the outfield, right? Like that is insane. The fact that he hit it there, and I think you know what actually it was a Ryan Weathers slider that was like inside almost at his feet is what it was. The Schlittler
Yeah,
one,
not a
honestly,
fastball, yeah, yeah.
yeah, the slider at the feet. How he pulled that, I don't know to begin with, but then the Schlittler one as well. Like you said, Schlittler basically throws three fastballs. Like that's basically what he throws. A cutter, sinker, and a four seamer. They're all like 98, which is just nasty. The fact that he pulls that, huge to see as well. But sending the first one up to the 500 since 2017, when of course my guy right there, JD, did it. Of course, I mean he would send absolute nukes out there. Just think we had Joey Bats, Double E, and JD up there, absolutely launching to the fifth deck. They all did it. Like, there's only been like what 8 or 9 guys that have done it in the history of the team or something like that. And we had those three guys in the 2015 team. So little sidebar there, but huge for that 2015 team. I mean, Kaz, what does he have? 15 home runs now? And I'll keep going back to what did I say? Like early May. Like, is he going to get 25? Like, that's where I set the over under 20. I went 26. 26 is looking pretty good right now. Like, if he finishes with 22, 23, amazing first year, obviously. Amazing first year in MLB, no doubt. I'm just like, dude, we're middle of June here and you're 15 home runs. Like, you basically got half the season left and you only got to hit 11 more. Can you do that for me? 26 would be nice. So, regardless of how the season ends, huge for him to get that home run and basically be one of the more productive bats over the last couple of weeks. Like, we're not getting power from pretty much anyone else, right? I don't think I'm wrong saying that. Like, he's the only one providing the power, 15 nukes on the season, like I just said. So, huge to see him do it. He's not going to hit to the 500 level every single time. I think they were wrong in the distance as well. Whatever they said, 430, 440. That ball was 500 feet. I don't care. It was sent to the 500 level. That math doesn't probably make sense, but 500 level, it's 500 feet. So huge for him to do that, and yeah, be one of the only guys that's really contributing with the power right now.
Yeah, so 100 level is 100 feet based
Yep,
off your
that's
math
that's how that
there.
math works. Yeah.
Interesting,
If you're
interesting.
tuning into the
Anyways,
pod for the first time, you can probably tell that Christian's the stats guy and I'm not. The looks guy, the math guy.
and so Kaz just kind of feels like a different prototype than what I expected. I expected like a 300 hitter, 15, 20 homers, which
Yeah.
is kind of what I expected based off what he did in Japan. And he's hitting for a lot more power than I had anticipated. Oh my goodness, 15, 16 home runs. What is he batting like 260, 250, 260? Um,
Yeah.
different than what I had anticipated, and it's kind of a good different. Like power is good, especially when we don't have much pop this year. So super interesting there, and we'll see if he continues that to your prediction, 26 home runs there. And another guy who has been really scuffling and got sent down to AAA was Davis Schneider, and you just felt good for him. And I found this pretty neat stat here. He hit his second home run of the year, and it's his first home run since game two of the season against, or maybe not game two, but early on in the season, his second game of the season against the Colorado Rockies, March
Oh,
30th.
wow.
Holy smokes. That is a long time ago. So shout out David Schneider.
Oh,
You could see the sigh of relief like visibly as he hit the home run. And so shout out him. Big home run. Tie the ball game. I think it was sixth, seventh inning. And so tied the ball game at three. Looked like a huge home run at the time because we just can't piece together hits and drive runners in right now. And so shout out David Schneider, who went 2 for 4 in the series. And yeah, like shout out him. He got 2 hits in the last game, and hopefully he continues this and picks up a little momentum going forward.
he grew out the beard, right? I think that was the change. Like not rocking the mustache anymore. Maybe. Like you got to do something because when you look at the AAA stats, like, okay, sure, his OPS might have been 900 or 800 or whatever. That's because he's got like a 600 on base. Like, he just wasn't hitting the baseball, which, like, this is great. Again, aside from Alejandro Kirk, who I trust 100% of the time with the ABS system, David Schneider's probably the next guy that you trust the most, right? After him, because he knows the zone really well. But I thought we sent him to AAA because we wanted him to work on hitting, right? Not on the challenge zone and working on walking because we know he's already amazing at that. Like, if he played a full season, he's probably going to strike out 60 times and walk 59 times. That's just probably what he's going to do. So we know he has the ability to get on base and walk, but we don't want to see him hit, which is why you pointed out the home run today and how long it had been for him to get that. Huge to see, right? Because I thought he was supposed to be maybe not so much necessarily a power hitter. Maybe you don't call him a power hitter, but he's not a contact hitter. You know he's not a contact hitter. There's a lot of swing and miss. He takes some big hacks when he's up there. You know there's some swing and miss in there. He can be fooled by the off speed, obviously, and honestly, ever since he came up 2023, his kryptonite has just always been the high and in fastball. Like he just can't turn on it. I'll never forget pitchers that just figured him out towards the end of 23 and early 24. Like just throw the fastball above the belt and he's not going to hit it. Right. So if he can figure out that sort of stuff and kind of limit the chase, maybe he can work himself into more of a regular role, I guess, or more of a certain bench role. Cause right now it's just like, are you just here until Dalton Varsho comes back? Like, cause what else are you going to do? Like, obviously Charles McAdoo is there. I don't know. Are we going to just activate Lenine Sosa and then that's the move and he's gone? Or when Barger comes back, McAdoo is gone. Okay. So that's the one move with McAdoo. Well, Dalton Varsho is going to come back at some point. We keep saying it's the minimum, right? So unless David Schneider hits like 6 home runs in the next week, I just unfortunately think he's going to go back to AAA. How many options he has left, I don't know. Like they've optioned him quite a few times. Do you think back to last year as well? Maybe one or two more options, and then what do you do with him at that point? Because it just feels like we've never really realized the potential of this guy. Like this guy could be a great player again with the on base that he has, with the pop that he has in that bat, dead center off of one of their better relievers. I forget who it was. It wasn't Doval, but might have been Jake Bird or one of these other guys. Like a lot of their arms are good in the Yankee pen, and he sent it to center field. So hoping he can figure it out. I really don't know how long he's going to be up here with the big league team, but yeah, like you said, good for him to get that moment. He grew out the beard. Maybe that's the difference. He had to grow it out and not rock the stash anymore. And good to see him do that. Hopefully he can continue doing that until Varsho comes back.
Yeah. Not only would he be a great bench bat, he'd be a very much needed right-handed bat, which is
Yeah.
something the Jays have lacked immensely. Like batting against left-handed pitchers has been one of the Blue Jays' biggest weakness so far.
Yeah.
I think Miles Straw has a very low OPS against left-handed pitchers, which is why he's in the lineup. It's a big part of his game, just be a late in the game replacement in the field, but also hit lefties, and he hasn't been able to do that. Davis Schneider, the same thing. So if Davis can turn it around and start hitting lefties and just start hitting in general as a right-handed bat, that'd be huge. And maybe the Blue Jays can kind of tick that off their need and want list for the trade deadline. And so one last guy here for the series standouts, and like this one's this one might be the best out of them all, just because of
Yeah.
um, who he was facing in the pitching matchup, and that's Kevin Gausman versus Cam Schlittler. And Kevin Gausman went toe to toe with Cam Schlittler.
Yeah.
Very, very fun pitching matchup for those who love pitching, and so Kevin went 7 innings, gave up one earned, and then had 7 Ks. Like just a terrific outing for Gausman. Um, Crazy for a two-pitch pitcher to like be this good in 2026. Just because you see so many pitchers. I think Schlittler is a good example as well.
Yeah.
He's got three fastball shapes, which is exactly what you want in a pitcher in 2026. He's got a slider, he's got a curveball even too. I'm sure he's got a changeup or a splitter in there as well. That's like 7 or 8 pitches. It feels like so many different pitchers have that many pitches. And then you look at Gosman, he's got 2 pitches. He uses his
Yeah.
slider every now and then. He's tried to develop that slider for years, just has not worked out. And even with no slider, like he's been just fine. Like it's incredible how good he's been with 2 pitches, and only having 2 pitches makes you more susceptible to the home run ball, just because there's less like there's more predictability there, so you kind of know what's going to come, and if they guess right, they might hammer your fastball. But even with only the 2 pitches, he's been incredible, and he continued that against the Yankees, going toe to toe with Cam Schlittler. And the Blue Jays just couldn't finish off that game with Louis Varland giving the home run up to Paul Goldschmidt. So either way, even though they lost the game, great performance by Kevin Gausman to match what has been the AL Cy Young like winner so far, like 2 months into the season, in Cam
Yeah.
Schlittler. So props to Kevin.
Is it fair to say that Kevin Gausman is the American League version of the Mets version of Jacob DeGrom? Because like dominant pitching seemingly all the time and never any run support. Like that was always the case with DeGrom, and actually have DeGrom right up there. Like obviously a better pitcher, DeGrom in his prime. Like Kevin Gausman's not putting up a 1.7 ERA in a season, striking out like 300 guys. He's not that kind of pitcher. But again, he doesn't have to be. Like he's just been consistent all the time. And if you look at DeGrom, unfortunately, the guy has been hurt a lot, right? And he doesn't really get to pitch a lot. You can rely on Gausman to be out there all the time, which is huge. And I know I keep talking about Cease a lot, right? And the fact that he's the ace. So I want to show Gausman a little bit of love here. Just looking at his stats with the Jays in the 5 years now that he's been with us. A 3.48 ERA and 140 starts, 820 and 2/3 innings with 879 strikeouts. And I think he's towards like the top, maybe not top five. I know he's within like the top 10, I think, of all time Jays strikeouts, which is just huge. Again, only 5 years that he's been here. And when looking at the rest of his career, some of the stops that he's made, like Atlanta, not good while he was there, very short stint that he was there. Cincinnati, he was there for like half a year, not great. San Fran, he was good. He was really good with the Giants. That's when he got that
Very
free
good.
agent deal. But again, short. It was the COVID year. What do you make of the COVID year? Obviously, everyone was going through it. It was a weird thing. And then 21, basically one good year there. And then it was Baltimore. And when you look at his Baltimore numbers, a 4.22 ERA and 150 outings, not all of which were starts. Like he wasn't even a solidified starter in his early years with the Orioles. So I think without a doubt, there's absolutely no doubt that when he finishes his career, his best stop will be with the Jays. Like what he's done with the Jays has been better than any other place he's gone, any other team he's pitched for. And again, yes, he might have the odd rough start, like we talk about with the Braves a little bit earlier the month, right? Or against the Orioles. He might go 5 innings, give up 4 runs. It might happen. He'll battle through an outing. But then somewhere he's got this in his back pocket, right? Where he goes 7 innings, almost 7 shed if it wasn't for Jason Dominguez, like again, of all people, Jason Dominguez. But the biggest indicator to me, I think, was the velo. I know we never want to be worried about Kevin Gausman and the velo. If he's throwing 91 in the first inning, we don't want to be worried about that. Well, we didn't have to be worried because he was throwing like 96 right out the gate to Ben Rice and all these guys and making them look silly. So when he's doing that, again, we talk about the guys being humans and we don't know what they're feeling, right? We have no idea what Kevin Gausman is feeling when he's throwing 91. He could be sore on the given day. The guy has thrown a bunch of innings in his career. Like, what is he in his 13th season by now or something like that? No, he's played 14 years. This is his 14th season. The guy has pitched a lot. He's not going to feel 100% every single time, right? We just know that's the case. So that's why we have to take it easy with the guy. But he has this in his back pocket when he's pumping 96 out of the gate. The splitter is diving. I'm really hoping while he's here, because if he's going to leave next year, I hope that's not the case. I hope they re-sign him. But if he's going to leave, I want him to talk to Trey Savage as much as he can to talk to him about that splitter. Because when Savage is having those problems with the splitter, right? Because that's basically it. It's splitter command that Savage is struggling with. If there's anyone you need to talk to about it, you got the man right there. You got the gas man right in the dugout. Go talk to him. I'm sure they talk a lot already in the dugout, but there's anyone that can help Trey right now with the splitter, it's Gausman. Who has a better splitter in the game than Gausman? I'll wait in the comments or anyone out there that's listening to this. Tell me one person that has a better splitter than Kevin Gausman. I think truthfully he has one of the best in the game.
Yeah, I think Logan Gilbert be right up there too. His splitter is
Okay,
gross, but I think
could
Kevin
be a two.
Gausman's on a different level, and I think
Yeah,
Trey definitely has the ability and potential with the splitter to be the best. But as of right now, I think it's Kevin Gausman rather easily, and
yeah,
so yeah, he's been incredible, and for such a long time, just
yeah.
kind of crazy to think we picked him over Robbie Ray. And you look at the ladder, you look at Robbie Ray, and see how that's gone in a very similar contract too. And
Yeah,
so yeah, I think Kevin got a tad more than Ray after Ray signed,
yep,
and it's looking fantastic right now. So shout out Ross and everyone involved in that decision. And now some injury updates. Addison Barger starting a rehab assignment this week. About time. It's felt like a long time since he hurt his elbow, and we just thought that was going to be a little day-to-day thing. Turned out to be a few weeks. And so the past 2 weeks, it's been just swinging a bat in Dunedin, enjoying the sun in Dunedin.
yeah,
And now he's been moved to a rehab assignment. They said hopefully this week. So we'll see how that goes. And I'm just going to fly by these here, and then we'll talk
yep,
about what happens when Shane Bieber comes back, because that's the one that kind of looks um, like that. And we'll talk about him and Jimmy and who goes up and who goes down. And so Shane Bieber, think it's going to be one more side session and then an outing in AAA, and then he's going to come back up. And then for Jimmy Garcia, it took him quite a while to ramp up fully, but he looks pretty imminent. Could in fact be ready for the Red Sox series that starts on Tuesday, which would be a great add to this bullpen. Another high leverage arm, maybe a guy who could have pitched in the ninth inning today, and so
oh,
would be a great add to this Blue Jays bullpen. And it's looking like a great bullpen. Looking like we have a bunch of guys who can come in and give us innings, give us real quality innings. And about that, let's talk about who goes down when Jimmy comes up. So if that happens on Tuesday, and just taking out my Fangraphs depth chart here, Aiden, who do you think goes down or even DFA'd
yeah.
if Jimmy Garcia comes up Tuesday?
Well, yeah, I wanted to save this for the pod, right? Because I had a bit of an opinion on it. I'm sorry, it's Tommy Nance. It's just easy. It's Tommy Nance. I know you were thinking that that's who I was going to say as well before the pod, and to me, it's just simple because unless you go SWR, who's the only other option, I think they already proved once to us that they want to keep SWR because they sent Adam Mako down, right? Like I feel like that was pretty indicative to us that they want to keep SWR on this roster and see if he's got anything. So if they want to keep him, I'm sorry, it's Tommy Nance because you have the depth chart probably in front of you here. Like you look at some of the names. I'm sorry, Spencer Miles not going anywhere. Braden Fisher obviously not going anywhere. Like whoever else is in the bullpen that I'm forgetting of, obviously the Hoffmans, the Rogers, the Varlins, Flu Hardys, all these names here. These guys are not going anywhere, obviously. So unfortunately, if there is one odd man out, like we were struggling with the bullpen for a bit. Yariel was here for a bit. If he was still here, that would have been the easy one. Obviously, Yariel is now gone. We don't have to worry about him. I know Tommy just came back from an injury, right? I think he had like a shoulder thing, missed a couple of weeks, came back. What did he do right away? It just sucks. I hate it for the guy. Like immediately a 3-run home run to Caballero just to put the game out of reach. And unfortunately, like there's nothing against the guy. I don't obviously dislike the guy. It's just kind of a matter of circumstance and who you have on the team. I said it back in March. If there's one guy that we're okay not being on this baseball team, I forget who you said back then when we did our season preview, but I said Tommy Nance. He was unfortunately the one guy. I actually somehow didn't say Brendan Little. I said Tommy Nance. So I'm going to stick with it. I think he goes when Jimmy comes back.
Yeah, and shout out Tommy Nance. He seems like a great guy, and we had Ryan
Yeah.
Jennings on the pod. Shout out Ryan
Yes,
Jennings
sir.
as well on his retirement
Yep.
and just going to other things in life, and shout out him on his great baseball career. But one thing he said was like Tommy Nance is a great teammate, great at crossword as well. So
Yep.
I just think with Bieber coming back very soon, as well as Garcia, those are two spots you got to open up here. So I'm gonna look. I'm gonna just take on both of those and kind of see who goes down when both of those eventually
Okay.
come up because those look like those will happen in the next say week. Like
Yep.
Bieber comes up say like next Sunday or Monday, and Jimmy might be Tuesday. So it's between Tommy Nance, SWR, Max Scherzer, and Patrick Corbin for me.
Yep.
Right? So there are four different spots there. And so for the reliever spot, it's between Tommy Nance and SWR. I'm gonna go Tommy Nance as well, just because I want to see more of SWR, and that'll buy me some more time to see more SWR. And then once we have to
Yep.
make another decision, uh, we can see what happens there. But so I'm gonna start with Tommy Nance for Jimmy Garcia, and then when Bieber comes back, see a Patrick Corbin.
Yep.
I'm saying it. Patrick Corbin, I
Yeah.
don't think there's a spot. Well, it's so hard because him and Scherzer, you know what? I might do Scherzer. It just feels like
Oh.
weird though, because of all the leadership stuff.
Yep.
Um, I can't pick like one of them. I'm so like torn here. So I'll go one of Patrick Corbin or Max Scherzer are DFA'd um, when Shane Bieber comes back.
I'll make it easier for you. It's Patrick Corbin. If you want an easy answer, and I can make the decision for you, it's Patrick
But what
Corbin.
do you do with Max Scherzer? That's my thing. Like he's been
So okay,
awful.
so here's my reasoning. I'm not saying that I want to keep Max Scherzer over Patrick Corbin because he's the greatest pitcher we've ever seen on this baseball team because he has a 10 ERA this year and a 6 ERA. You know what? I saw the stat. I think he has the highest ERA of any Blue Jay pitcher to throw like 100 innings or something like that in franchise history. That is horrific how bad that is. Like it's like a 6.2 ERA. Obviously, that is not the production I want on this baseball team. I'm just thinking from the perspective of management. I don't see how they get rid of him when, like you said, they keep talking about the leadership, what he says to the guys in the dugout. I keep saying, make the guy a pitching coach already. Just have him be the right hand man to Pete Walker, or have him be the pitching coach and Pete's the right hand man. As much as I think, if I'm thinking, I'll give it to you this way. If I'm thinking from my opinion, from my perspective, Scherzer goes. Yes, he has been the worse pitcher than Corbin. But if I'm thinking in the way that management has been thinking, which is the way they're going to do it, they're not going to do it the way I'm thinking on this pod or the way you're thinking on this pod. They're going to do it the way they want to. The way they want to. I just think they like Scherzer too much and think there's at least something left in the tank that they're going to get rid of Corbin. As much as Corbin has been solid in the time that he's been here, we didn't really talk about it a lot in the pod. Not been great to start June, obviously. The Braves, not a great start. Phillies, even worse start. The Yankees got out of some trouble today, but it just didn't ever feel solid. It's not a great start to June. It was a $1 million contract. Not like the Scherzer one was a big one either. It was like 3 mil or something like that. And he's not going to get his incentives, I don't think, because he's not going to throw the innings. Unfortunately, it's between the two guys, and I just think they trust the leadership of Scherzer too much that they're going to get rid of Corbin. So for me, it's Nance and Corbin that go.
Yeah, yeah, and that's fair. I just can't pick one of them because if you pick Corbin, then you got to have Scherzer still on the team,
Yeah.
and what's his role? If you DFA Scherzer, then you got to like is Patrick Corbin really a rotation guy right now? Like he can barely go 4 innings, so
Yeah.
it's tough to figure out. But we'll see. That'll be the toughest one out of the two
Yeah. Yeah.
between Jimmy Garcia and Shane Bieber. Um, I think it'll be Tommy Nance just because I think they want to see more of SWR and then Shane Bieber. We'll see
Yeah.
which of those two. I think it's got to be one of those two. If they do SWR, then you just got way too many starting pitchers. You got Corbin and Scherzer. Like it's just weird. I don't like that either. So I assume they'll DFA one of Corbin or Scherzer when Bieber comes back. Now looking forward to the forecast and seeing what's on the horizon here against the Boston Red Sox, a team that has struggled Garrett Crochet sat back with his lat. Not been good. Not been good. Roman Anthony, I think
Oh,
he's got a setback too. I don't know what the
yep.
Red Sox are doing over there health wise. Doing what we're doing over here, I guess. But yeah, it's not looking so good for them. And so the pitching matchups, Dylan Cease and Peyton Tolley, game one, fantastic pitching pitching duo there, and it'll be a great game to see those guys battle against each other, similar to the Gospin Schlittler one, but I think less of a caliber of that. And this is kind of like the step below that. So Cease Tolley game one, Scherzer and Bennett. I like this more than Max Scherzer versus Jesus Luzardo. So I'll take
Yeah.
that. I'll take that. Um, hopefully we take that game. I just want to see something from Max Scherzer, some hope, some glimmer, and then game three it's Trey Savage versus Sonny Gray. So I think all three of these pitching matchups are pretty like even. They're all kind of near the same like expertise right now. Like Dylan Cease, Peyton
Yep.
Tolley, been super good this year. Max Scherzer, Jake Bennett, what the heck are you going to give us? Like, we'll just see what they'll give us.
Yep.
Trey Savage, Sonny Gray, two solid starting pitchers. Like I think it's a pretty even matchup here. I'm gonna go 2 out of 3. I just think. I just think we got to take it from the Red Sox here, and we've got Dylan Cease and Trey Savage. Let's see if Trey Savage can turn it around. So not a sweep. Never going to say a sweep again, but based off like my success rate saying sweep, I think every time I say sweep, we lose or get swept. So we're not sweeping this here. I think we go 2 out of 3 against the Red Sox.
Yeah, and again, my reasoning for keeping Scherzer on this team is not because of the performance on the field; it's because of what I think the front office is going to do. So I will say they lose that game. If I had to pick between the two or the 3 games in the series, I'll go with you. The same thing as you said, like 2 out of 3, and I just feel like the Scherzer game is the one we lose. Like I'm not worried going up against Jake Bennett. I'll say it. He's a rookie, right? And he has got nothing flashy. He doesn't throw that hard. It's just Max Scherzer who hasn't given us any reason, unfortunately, yet to believe in him this year, right? And all the starts we saw before the injury, then he has like 3 different injuries and comes back and doesn't look much better against the Phillies, right? So, unfortunately, that's the game I think we lose. But I wanted to look at the Red Sox offense a little bit, who's just I don't know why it's been this bad. Like guys are just not performing. Like Marcelo Meyer, what in the world happened to that guy? I thought that guy was supposed to
Yeah.
be a big prospect. Like Christian Campbell cannot even crack the MLB roster. I had that guy on fantasy last year, did absolutely nothing. Like he can't even make the MLB roster. Like you said, Roman Anthony. I actually have him on one of my fantasy teams as well. He's got setbacks like 5 times already. Like he keeps trying to swing. So he's like it's like the Addison Barger thing, but it's I guess worse because he keeps swinging a little bit at the complex, stops. Swings a little bit,
Anthony
stops.
Santander all over again.
Oh my god, that's actually a better comparison. Yeah, I guess. And then at some point they're just going to shut him down and say, okay, you're not playing the rest of the year. Then we're going to try and ramp you up in January, but then you have shoulder problems again. So now take the surgery, and then you're out for 2027.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how that goes.
I mean, the way they're dealing with that, I don't know. I mean, obviously, I have no idea what his shoulder's like, but looking at the guys on the field, they got the least home runs in the game. 56. They are bottom of the league. Like you talk about some of these other teams, like the Marlins, not a home run hitting team. The Rays, the Brewers, these are not home run hitting teams. The Red Sox are dead last with 56. In terms of
Mhm.
OPS in the league, we're ninth worst, which isn't great, obviously, but the Red Sox are seventh worst, a little bit lower than us. Again, the home runs are not really there. I believe in terms of strikeouts as well, they were towards the top as well. So when you look at us, we're at like 526. You look at the Red Sox, yeah, they're top 10. So something has not worked. Like some of their guys, Wilson Contreras, that's been a great signing, right? Like some of their guys in that lineup have been good. It's just, I don't know. The guys on the field there have not been like Caleb Durbin when he started the year was just putrid. It's in
He's
like
like the
05.
worst batter. I think he's the worst qualified batter in the
Yeah.
league. It's
Like, dude,
bad.
Trevor Story when he was on the field, I know he's injured now, but when he was playing, it was just rough to watch. Like, Sidon Rafaela, like, is he one of their better sticks? I guess Jaron Duran has not been hitting, starting to heat up a little bit. Crochet goes down immediately. He looked horrible when he was on the mound, too, when he was healthy. I don't know. Something's gone wrong with them. So I just feel like this is the time when you have to take advantage of a team like this. We were hoping, like, okay, the Yankees had Judge down and you're not facing Cole, you're not facing Rodon. Still the Yankees. They got Ben Rice. There isn't necessarily like a Ben Rice type in this lineup. I don't think, right? Like there's no one that hits like that in this lineup, right? So It's the Red Sox. It's not the Yankees in 2026. They are statistically a worse team. They are 10 games under 500. This feels like the series where you need to take 2 out of 3 and start to build any momentum. If you want any hope of getting back into this thing, as much as the AL sucks, I'm sorry, the AL is horrible this year. What is happening? The Jays are as bad as they've been playing. The Jays are like 1 game out of a wild card spot. It's kind of crazy. Like the White Sox are good. The A's are kind of hanging around. Like the Rangers are kind of hanging around. The Mariners, like easily, you can take the AL West. Nobody else is competitive, but they can't. It just can't get anywhere. They're like struggling like the Jays to like just creep ahead barely. So as much as the AL sucks, someone at some point is going to take off. The Mariners, the Yankees, someone is going to go on a big winning streak. It's not possible for all these teams to keep 1 out of 3, 2 out of 3, 2 out of 4. Someone's going to take off. If you want a chance as the Blue Jays to do it, now is the time. Go into the Red Sox series. First time in Fenway this year. Take 2 out of 3. Kaz Okamoto hit some nukes over the monster. We will see you after the Red Sox series. And as always, go Blue Jays.